Hold up.
Yeah.
Today, we're talking about confessions.
Yeah.
Swirl.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Hello, welcome back to the show. So today's subject, we're talking about confessions. Yeah, we're talking about confessions. So what is a confession? A confession is basically owning up to something you did that you probably got away with, but it's probably been sitting heavy on your heart. And a lot of people just don't confess. Some people take a lot of things straight to the grave with them. It's not because they're bad people. It's simply no one ever teaches anyone how to confess. I mean, most of the time when someone has did something and they got to confess to a person, the person that needs the confession done to them is saying, oh, I know you did it. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And then you're going to be like, man, I don't want to be looked like as a liar right now. And then you, over time, you're able to heal and say, you know what, let me confess to it. And sometimes people just don't do that because no one ever teaches anyone how to confess. So I'm showing you today how to confess properly. That's right. I'm showing you 3 things that I've already gotten away with in my life, but I'm confessing to them right here today. Confession number 1. This happened when I was in high school. I was in class. It was a British literature class. And I remember we was all sitting there quiet, and the teacher was sitting at his desk, and someone in class passed gas. We all started to we laughed about it a little bit. The teacher looked up, but he just let it go. I guess he was like, guys, they just being guys, and it's natural, I guess. But about 20 or 30 seconds later, another fart came out, and we all started laughing a bit louder, kind of disruptive a bit. But the teacher still kept cool. Then a couple seconds later, the loudest one happened. It was very loud, and the teacher stood up and he was angry. Who did it? Who did it? We didn't want to tell on each other, so no one said anything. So the teacher sent all the females out of the class. He said, he knew it was us. He knew it was one of us. And he sent them all out of class and said, who did it? If you don't tell me who did it, I'm going to write all of you up. And he wrote up all 6 of us because none of us would say who did it.
Confessions.
Dear Mr. B, I know you haven't forgotten about this because I bet you rarely write up 6 guys in your class. But I'm coming to you because I have a confession. We were sitting in your class and everyone was passing gas. The first one and the second one, they were not me. But the third one, the loudest one, it was me. I farted in your class. You were such a gentleman. You sent all the women outside so we can deal with it like men. But I was just too young and immature at the time to own up to it, you know. But it was me. I farted in your class. I know it's no real excuses, but I did eat a Swiss string cheese that morning, and I'm lactose intolerant, so. But there's no excuses. I did it. I farted. That was a good confession, right to the point, and it seemed like you really mean it. You gotta make it feel like you are really heartfelt. you have to be anyway if you're trying to do a genuine confession. That was a good one. That's a good way to confess. So let's do confession number 2. This was around the same time, so I was very young then. But I remember me and a friend of mine, we were driving to see these girls that we had met at the Boys and Girls Club. They had a little function, and so we met these girls there, and so we was going to go to their house. So we went to their house, got there, the girls came out, greeted us. Oh, they was looking so beautiful, so pretty. They was looking so pretty. And they let us in the house. We came in the house. Sitting down on the sofa was her mom and dad, dressed all up nice. Nice. Dad had a nice suit on with some sandals though. I didn't understand the sandals at the time, but he had a suit on, and so he was like, "Oh man, nice to meet you guys. Y'all some good, y'all church going men?" And we was like, "Yeah, we are." You know, he's like, "Good." Because we all going to church, and we looked at each other like, what? But we couldn't say no. You know, you just can't say no to that. So we ended up going to church with them that night, and we stayed for a couple hours in church. He even stood up in church and had the people to say, "Hey, look, I got these 2 nice young gentlemen coming to church with them. I brought them to church with us." Like, oh man, this look at our youth. It's not as bad as they say it's gonna be, and y'all get on up. And he made us stand up, and the whole church gave us an applaud. And he was like, "Come on up here." And, so we stood up there by him, and everyone was just like, "Oh man, that's nice to see 2 young men dedicated to church." And so we went home. The girls gave us a hug, and then they went into the house, and then the dad stayed out with us outside and talked to us for about 30 or 40 minutes. And then he said, "Well, I hope I see you guys again." And then he went into the house, and our night we had to drive on home. Confessions. Dear mister, I don't remember your name. I'm pretty sure you probably don't even remember me. But we were the guys that came there, and you held us up on a high pedestal with those church people, and you called us churchmen of the future. I have a confession to make. Fact is, we weren't church men or church boys. We went into the church like that. We was only trying to smash your daughters. We were only trying to smash. And even on the ride home, we were actually making fun of your sandals. It was just, like the whole time you had 2 of your toes sticking out, and it was like, man, I don't know how you didn't feel it. And to this day, I'd be like, man, how didn't you feel it? I don't know, but I think you like overworn them a bit. But either way, we weren't churchmen. We were trying to smash your daughters. I'm so sorry. Don't confess too much. Don't overdo it. Get straight to the point. Say what you mean, feel what you mean, and get it all off your chest, and that's it. Don't let the confession, the little things you say in the confession, end up being bigger than what you actually did, you know? Let's do the 3rd and final confession. Hey man, I can do this all day. I got a lot of things I can confess to. So if you want to see a confessions part 2, in the message area below, go ahead and say #confessions2. If we get 10 of those, I'll do a confessions 2. But let's go to the 3rd and final confession. This confession would go to my mom. I remember she had these candles. They was brand new candles, and they was wrapped up, still in the stock packaging. And I remember she came home mad one day, And she was like, who lit my candles up? And then no one said anything. No one would answer. Everybody was like, not me, not me. She said, I'm gonna ask you again, who lit my candles? And no one understood.
Confessions.
Hey, Ma. It's probably the hardest confession I had to make, even though I already think you already know. But it was me who lit the candles. What happened was I lit them up because they said they were scented. So I lit them up and I wanted to see the smell of the grape one. And I lit it and it had no scent to it. So I opened another one and lit it. Before you know it, it was 4 candles lit. And then I actually could smell the scent. So I was like, man, I want the room to smell like this. So I took all 4 candles to the room and closed the door and let the scent get in the room. And I was like, yeah, this room's smelling good now. And I don't know what it is about the candles, but I guess they turned me on a bit. And I grabbed some of your cocoa butter lotion, then I went to work. That's right, man. I stroked the elephant trunk. I remember you telling me, boy, don't do those things, you're gonna go blind. And I really think I'm paying for them now because I need to get my eyes checked. I just feel so bad. It took so long though. I was having so fun with the candles. I felt it was romantic. I deserve to have candle lights and stuff, romance. I'm a romantic person. So I thought I was done. The wax was like halfway melted, and then the other bottom part was still kind of together. I got the super glue and glued the boxes back together and put them back in the original case, thinking I would trick you. But it was me. I lit the candles. I'm sorry. Some confessions, just keep the whole thing to yourself. Take it to the grave with you. Just take it to the grave. The issue with confessing is we want people to confess right then and right there. Not knowing that sometimes it takes years for someone to feel remorse for something that they did. All we have to go on is, if something doesn't add up, normally the reason why is because truth isn't in the equation. Fact of the matter is, confessing is like surgery. It hurts, but it cures. And telling lies, it's like painkillers. It takes away the pain for the moment, but the side effects can last forever. Till next time, good night everyone.